Good morning. We're going to start another race. This will be the Pro Series LMP. We have Steve Madison starting on white, Gary Worden on orange, Bill Porter blue, Jeff Knoll on purple, Phil Sloan on black. And we're going to let it rip. Let it rip, tater chip. All right, drivers ready? Here we go.
Ready. Go. Halfway through the race. 1 minute left. Ten seconds left. 5 seconds left.
Heat over.
Heat over.
Well, we got two racers with 24 laps, two with 23, and one with 22. Jeff Knoll and Phil Sloan lead with 24 laps. Steve Madison and Gary Worden tied for third with 23 laps, and Bill Porter with 22 laps. Wow, what a race. It's going to be a good one today. Fast lap goes to Phil Sloan with a 5.072, Jeff Knoll a 5.094. Steve Madison a 5.135, Gary Worden a 5.165, Bill Porter a 5.499. So that's our standings currently. We're going to let them get their cars ready and do it again.
I knew he was good. I wanted to hang on to it.
Phil, why are you letting Jeff dog you?
I think you got it backwards, bro. I was behind him. He was in front. He was leading the way.
Where's he and where are you now?
Side by side.
That's what I know.
3 inches apart from each other.
More like an inch and a half.
I know. Yeah, it's true. No, we had a good time. You're all right, brother.
30 seconds.
Steve's on the fat track now. Go red.
All right, drivers, everybody ready?
Ready. Go.
Phil Sloan pulled the lead on that one. Phil at 47, Jeff Knowles second place at 46, tied with Steve Madison. I don't know who's ahead there. It looks like Steve has got Jeff by about 2 feet. So it's Phil Sloan, Steve Madison, Jeff Knoll, Gary Worden, Bill Porter. So Phil 47, Jeff and Steve 46 each, Gary 45, and Bill Porter 44. Laps that segment, Phil Sloan 23, Steve Madison 23, Jeff Knoll, Gary Worden, and Bill Porter all with 22. Fast lap again goes to Phil Sloan on the yellow lane with a 4.989. Jeff Knoll a 5.024. Steve Madison a 5.186 on the red lane, so that's a remarkable time on the red lane. Gary Wildman Worden with a 5.211 on white, which is a good lap time, and Bill Porter a 5.307, was a little sluggish there. I forgot to push the record button on the last race. I did it to him twice. I did get one heat the first time though. Got the last heat. I got all of this one so far till I mess it up. 30 seconds.
All the narrating for nothing, huh?
Yeah. Wore out vocal cords for nothing.
Ready. Go.
Green. You're welcome.
Halfway through the race. 1 minute left. Seconds left. 10 seconds left. 5 seconds left.
Well, just took you too long to get them good lap times. You ran good lap there. 5.238 is toward the end. All right. Phil Sloan and Jeff Knoll are tied. Phil's got Jeff by probably 20, 30 foot. So Phil and Jeff both at 70. Steve Madison challenging at 69 laps. Steve is in the front straightaway just ahead of Phil, so he's pretty much a lap down to Phil. Gary Worden 68, Bill Porter 66. Bill coming off of black, Gary coming off of red. So Gary had a good lap time on red with a 5.238, but not good enough. Jeff Knoll turned a 4.972 for fast lap on yellow. Excuse me, Phil Sloan turned a 5.029 on orange. Steve Madison a 5.037 on green. which is a good lap time. Gary a 5.238 on red, and Bill Porter a 5.352 on black. Bill's got all easy lanes the rest of the road. We're going into, that was the fourth heat, so we got 5, 6, 7, and 8 to go. Racers ready?
Ready. Go.
Jeff Knoll just took the lead from Phil. Phil's on white. Jeff is on orange. That is pretty much expected. All Phil needs to do is just run a good lane, and because Jeff has to go to white the next lane, and then Phil will be on red. And if he can get off of red with a good laps, and Jeff will have to run red. And so the race, although Phil may go down a half a lap this heat, it'll be a new race when Phil goes to green and Jeff is on red. Jeff is pulling away. Jeff's challenging Steve Madison. Steve's got a good fast car. Steve is on blue and Jeff's trying to pass him on orange. And Steve's not known for letting people by. They have to work for it. Now Bill Porter's coming up on yellow, challenging both of them. And Jeff is still unable to get around Steve Madison. Steve is running a good lane there. Oh, Steve just came off under the bridge. That's some good racing there, guys.
Ready. Go. 20 seconds left.
Steve will try to run him down. I don't know if he can do it or not, but he's going to try. Steve is in the white car, and Jeff is in the blue and black car, and Bill Porter is in the black silver car, and Phil Sloan is in the green and yellow car. Heat is over.
Heat over.
All right, Jeff Knoll is your current leader with 94 laps. He's about a quarter lap ahead of Phil Sloan, half lap ahead of Phil Sloan. Jeff goes to white, Phil goes to red, so Jeff should still pick up, maybe get a complete lap on Phil by the end of this segment. But then when Jeff goes to red, then Phil will be on green, and Phil will get some laps back from Jeff. So it's a good race. It's going to be a tight race. We're going to have to see how it shakes out. So Jeff Knoll leads 94. Phil and Steve Madison both on 93. Gary Worden at 90 and Bill Porter at 87. Laps that segment, Jeff Knoll and Steve Madison each with 24 laps. Phil with 24. Phil's about 40 feet short of getting another lap. Gary Worden with 22 and Bill Porter 21. Fast lap goes to Jeff Knoll with a 4.987 on orange. Steve Madison with a 5.015 on blue. Phil Sloan with a 5.120 on white. Bill Porter a 5.270 on yellow, and Gary Worden a 5.310 on green. Back to racing. 30 seconds. All right, here we go.
Ready.
Turn that car around. The blue, yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Go.
I don't think it would work that way.
One for y'all. Yeah, we know.
That was Madison came off on the bridge. I put it behind. Jeff just lap Phil for a whole lap now, which was expected. Let's see if Phil can stay close throughout this. All he needs to do is stay close. He'll get a half a lap. Heat over. Good heat, guys. Very good heat. All right. Jeff Knowles, your sole leader with 117 laps. Phil Sloan right behind him with 116. Phil is coming out of the donut, so he's about a third of a lap behind Jeff, which he can get back on this next heat if he runs good. So we got Jeff Knoll leading with 116, Phil Sloan and Steve Madison each at 116, with Phil in second place and Steve in third place. Phil's coming out of the donut, Steve's going under the bridge into the donut. Gary Worden with 112 laps, Bill Porter 110. All racers scored 23 laps except for Gary Worden with 22. Fast lap goes to Steve Madison with a 4.988. Jeff Knoll a 5.030 on white, which is a remarkable lap time. Phil Sloan a 5.176. Gary Worden a 5.192. And Bill Porter with a 5.289. So the cars have sped up a little bit and they're turning some good laps. So let's go and get ready for the next heat. 30 seconds. Got 3 heats left. We'll break for lunch. All right, here we go.
Ready.
Right there.
Go.
All right, so Phil Sloan is going to challenge Jeff. This will be the heat that the challenge will take place. Jeff is on the red lane. Phil is on the green lane.
Yellow flag.
Up there, the black car on the should be on white. Thank you.
Ready.
Bill Porter is on the white lane with the black and silver car. And
Go.
so Phil's a little more than a straightaway behind. Phil's turning 5.0s, Jeff's turning 5.1s, and the question is that enough difference to matter? And Phil has to turn a full lap to get back to even with Jeff once he passes him.
1 minute left.
He's gaining, shortening the margin on him. Phil's only a quarter straightaway behind him now, half straightaway. It's the blue car and the yellow and green car, the blue and black car, those are your leaders. Phil's about 6 feet behind him now. He's expected to pass. He ought to pass him just because of the lane difference. And then the question is, can he? He's only got 20 seconds or so, so he's not going to be able to get that lap he needs.
20 seconds left.
Phil did pass Jeff, but he's only got about 4 feet on him. And 15 seconds time. Got about 8 feet on him.
10 seconds left.
He's got about 12 feet on him.
5 seconds left.
Got about 15 feet, and the heat is over. Phil crossed the lap counter, and Jeff did not. So, Phil Sloan picked up 24 laps. Jeff 23, but Jeff is about 30 feet away from the lap counter. So they're tied on the board. Jeff Knoll is still your leader with 140 laps. Phil Sloan tied at 140. Steve Madison 139, Gary Worden 135, and Bill Porter 131. Now we got 2 heats left to race. Jeff Knoll will go to green, Phil Sloan will go to blue, so Phil still has a lane advantage by a little bit. In the next lane, Phil Sloan will go to purple, and then Jeff will go to blue for the last heat. So this is going to be a good race. It's going to be a very tight race. So fast laps goes to Phil Sloan with a 4.980. Steve Madison with a 5.004. Jeff Knoll a 5.123, Gary Worden a 5.153, and Bill Porter a 5.369 on white. and the thing is, with this race between Jeff and Phil, and Madison's not out of it, but Madison needs some brakes. He needs somebody to wreck in order for him to get back in contention. But if Phil and Jeff run a perfect race all the way out, it is going to be a thriller. 20 seconds. Oops, excuse me. All right, here we go.
Ready. Go.
All right, looks like Noel might have closed up a foot or two. Yeah, he's gaining on Phil Sloan. Phil Sloan has to pull away. Noel's challenging him. They're about 4 feet apart. Noel's making up time on the donut. They're about 3 feet apart. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I was into the race too much.
Ready.
Phil Sloan wrecked on the lead on, and it was not a track call, and I just messed up. So anyway, Jeff Knoll is pulling away from Sloan, so that should leave Sloan in second place this heat, and Jeff Knoll in first, with Madison in third. Madison's about to go another lap down to Knoll. Knoll's fighting him, or Madison's fighting off Knoll, trying not to let him get around. Madison on the yellow lane in the white car. That's Knoll in the blue and black car. That's a good race between those two. They're running pretty good lap times. I think Madison may even have a little better lap time on him. Madison's pulling away from Noel. He's got about 8 feet on him.
10 seconds left. 5 seconds left.
All right, into heat.
Heat over.
All right, so Jeff Noel is your current leader with 164 laps. Phil Sloan 163. He's a full lap and probably a lap and a half down. Steve Madison in third place with 163. Steve is about a half a lap behind Phil Sloan. Steve goes from yellow to orange, so he'll finish on orange. Noel goes from green to blue, he'll finish on blue, and Sloan goes from blue to purple, and he'll finish on purple. Worden goes from black to yellow. Worden is at 157 laps, and Porter goes from red to green, and he's at 153 laps. Laps that segment. Noel and Madison each with 24. Sloan had an off and dropped to 23 laps. Fast lap is Noel with a 4.977. Oops, excuse me. No, Steve Madison had fast lap with a 4.953. Then Noel's 4.977. Phil Sloan with a 5.039. Gary Worden with a 5.159, and Bill Porter with a 5.403. Last heat. All right, racers ready?
Ready. Go. Halfway through the race. 1 minute left.
He's on a mission.
20 seconds left.
He can run him some orange.
10 seconds left. 5 seconds left.
Race over.
Checkered flag. Race over.
All right, I need to get car positions. Phil, what's it? That's 8. Phil Sloan 8. All right, who's this? Madison is on 10, 11, 11.5. Gary, where are you? 7? 7.4? Jeff? 4 point, where's the joint on the, right there, 4.3? Bill Porter. Yeah, about 4.8. All right, we need the cars at the bank. Yeah, we got some sandwiches in the fridge if y'all want to eat here. It's whatever you want.
He's craving.
Okay. The sooner you get back, the sooner we can start. You could probably get Culver's for the way home. I don't know.
Oh, going through the middle.
There's no bushing in it. It's just metal on metal.
Right.
And I couldn't get a roll.
People are telling people, man, lube's your friend.
Whoops.
Excuse me. All right, to the podium, please, and let me close out the video. All right, so Jeff Knoll is your winner with 188 laps. Steve Madison pulled ahead of Phil Sloan, did a fantastic job at 187. Phil Sloan finished third at 186, Gary Worden 180, and Bill Porter 175. Laps that segment, both Jeff Knoll, Steve Madison with 24, Phil Sloan, Gary Worden each with 23, and Bill Porter 22. Fast lap goes to Steve Madison with a 4.956, Phil Sloan a 5.043, Knoll a 5.058, and Worden a 5.181, and Porter with a 5.308. Great racing, guys. Enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next race.